Hi guys, it's Kelly here and I'm back with another video. Today this video is part of the new Simon Says stamp release Fluttering by, and I'm using a new stamp set and a new die. The new stamp set I'm completely in love with. It is called Yes You Can. It is by Kathy Zelsky. It is amazing. There's so many encouragement sentiments in here. I am just completely in love with this. And so normally I don't stamp my sentiment first, but I needed it for placement, and I did stamp it twice because I'm stamping on Canson watercolor paper. And then after I stamped it, I just looked at it. Be brave. What an interesting concept, right? We're going to talk about that. But first, we're going to talk about how we made this card. So, there's a solid butterfly stamp that is in this stamp set, and I thought that it would be fun to use the stitching butterflies and the solid butterfly and kind of create a rainbow of butterflies going up the card. So I stamped that in Versamark ink. I treated it with my embossing bag, and then I stamped it in Versamark ink. And here, because I stamped the sentiment twice, it was still wet, and I missed that. So I did get some white embossing powder on there. I just brushed it off with a dry brush. It was totally fine. So I'm going to go ahead and heat set this. I only stamped 3 of the butterflies, just enough to kind of fill in that area in between where my die cut butterflies were going to go, and they break up the colored background a little bit. So I have a bunch of Distress Oxides. This is like it's a modified rainbow because I use like the picked raspberry in place of the red, and I add in the peacock feathers, and it's just like my favorite version of a rainbow. Whenever I do a rainbow card, I'm pretty sure I use this combination of colors because it makes me happy. So in order to get the watercolor look I'm going for, I just painted just clear water in a diagonal around the sentiment. So it kind of like hooks around. And then I'm just going to, I'm using a Ranger craft sheet as my palette here, and I'm just going to pick up these Distress Oxides and drop them in a rainbow order. So picked raspberry, carved pumpkin, squeezed lemonade, twisted citron, peacock feathers, salty ocean, wilted violet. And then just because it didn't quite all the way carry to the end, I added some picked raspberry again at the bottom. This is just, you can see it's a very generic stripe of just color so that I can get those moving and blending together. If you watch my videos, you know I'm not a huge fan of what I call manufactured edges. So ones that look just kind of very harsh and just like a regular paintbrush edge. So what I like to do is I like to go in and kind of pull out those edges. So sometimes it's just making an irregular shape. Sometimes it's doing little dots of color so that it kind of spreads out. And I'm also going in and trying to deepen up the color. So I like bold, bright color. I just do. And especially with this bold sentiment, not only bold in its font, but also bold in its meaning, I really wanted just some bright colors that were going to be in the background. So let's talk about the sentiment. So I stamped the sentiment, and then I just stared at it. And the reason that I stamped the sentiment and then I just stared at it is because we spend so much time being afraid. Just a copious amount of time in our life just being afraid to make a change, to make a move, to take a risk, because we worry about failing. We worry about what other people are going to think of us. We worry about all of those things. I'm spattering on some color here, guys, because I like me some spattered edges. But in the big scheme of things, in the big picture of things, none of those things matter. Doesn't matter. Like, literally does not matter. There's a saying out there that says, if we only knew how little people think of us, we wouldn't be quite so worried about what they thought of us. Something like that. Basically, the gist of the sentiment is we're all so worried about what people think about us that we don't even realize that other people are so busy thinking about themselves. They ain't thinking about you anyway. You're not even registering on the radar. So anyway, because we got to hop back and forth between the talk and the card. I set that aside to dry. I am using the same Distress Oxides to do a color blend just on Neenah Solar White. And this is what I'm going to cut my butterfly dies out of. So just going through, blending those together. I didn't show you the squeezed lemonade into the twisted citron, but I did end up having to go back and add that in because I thought I was only going to do 3 butterflies, and then I ended up doing 4. So, anywho, back to the sentiment. So, here's your assignment, here's your homework for today, okay? I want you to do something you're afraid of. I don't care what that thing is. I don't care if it is standing up for yourself at work, wearing some hot pink eyeshadow that you really love but you never wear because you're afraid that people are going to be like, that girl has on hot pink eyeshadow. If it is trying a new place for dinner, if like that's something that you've never wanted to take the risk for, I don't care what the thing is. Do something. Be brave. Make a decision. You are responsible, capable, wonderful people, and you can make good decisions for yourself and take calculated risks and not fail. And that includes in your crafting. So many times people will be like, I could never, mine won't ever look like yours. You're right. It won't. And it shouldn't, because it's yours. It's not mine. So do something when you're creating. Maybe your brave thing will be trying a different technique. Maybe this will be the technique. Maybe it'll be something else you've seen on the blog hop. But there's no reason why you cannot obtain the results that you're looking for. So that's my little 2 cents for this video. Be brave, peeps. Do it. You can do it. And in this sentiment set, which is amazing, there's so many of those good, encouraging things. It says, yes, you can. You always could. Always be you, because you do you better than anything else, which I love. Trust yourself. You have never been more ready to succeed. They're just awesome sentiments. They're just awesome. So anyway, I die cut these gorgeous little butterflies. The butterflies are in separate pieces. You should note that. And you do have to put them together, but they are so pretty. Like, did you see my little jazz hands there? I had jazz hands when I put the first, when I just laid it together to see how pretty it was. So I did cut the bodies, the bodies out of black, Simon Says Stamp cardstock, and then the wings out of that paper that you saw me make with the perfect pearls and the spatters and all that jazz. So I just put a little dot of glue on the back and then attached the bottom wings. And then I put a little dot of glue on the front and attached the body. There are 2 different butterflies in this particular die set. And one has a small body, one has a big body. So you can see that on the front where they have them laid out, which one goes with which. I don't honestly think it matters. You could probably mix it up if you were so inclined, but these are just the ones that they originally had paired together. The other thing that I love about the fact that these cut separately, we'll get back to that in 1 minute. Sorry. This is a very haphazard video. I'm so unprofessional. Anyway, Distress Oxides have a chalky finish. And so I did have to go back in and stamp my sentiment again because I did get some paint on top of it. Anywho, the other thing that I love about the fact that these butterflies cut out their pieces separately is this means that I can turn literally anything into a fairy. A fairy. Like, I could put this on little girls or little boy stamps that I have, little maybe dogs. I could give them fairy wings. I could make a fairy dog. Who wouldn't want a fairy dog? It's like a unicorn. So there's just, I really love that. I'm going to be putting these wings on a bunch of things. So I originally adhered them just their bodies, and I kind of propped up their wings, which I loved, but I didn't really feel like it was terribly secure. So on just the large wings, just the top set, I went back in with just a small amount of foam tape and adhered them more toward the body of it, and that way I could still have my wings popped up. I am using glitter pens because, you never have enough glitter. And I went over all the butterfly wings with the glitter, and then I decided just to kind of fill in that space, I used some clear droplets, and I like to adhere mine with glossy accents because it makes sure that they are nice and clear. And then this is the whole card, which I love, because I love butterflies and rainbows and black and white and this sentiment. I love everything about this card. But if you are catching this on YouTube, make sure that you head over to the blog. It'll be linked below in the description because it's part of a blog hop and there's giveaways. Stuff to win is always good. So I will catch you guys on the next video. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.